Me mamu akwaba. Aha nimde news so. Na me demo ko akwa kopie mu awo the Parliament of Ghana. Yenyina ni vet na ekoso. Aho na yedemo ko akokopie. Na ne Parliament de papa na onzo aye nije. Na obi be bisa say den na ama Parliament aye nije na ama ho nso aye de no. Vet na ekoso no. Aye say vet no. Enkomo twetwe ni ensem ye ekoso ho ne de amye die pa. Ministers designate na ya appoint omo na ye vet omo to their ministerial position no. Ana ene de omama agro no ana say adwuma no. Aye na ye cha hu ni yenkonkotie ene de mra vet no ekoso no ministers ni bi oma no nsem ni bi yenkotie.
I want to find out from the nominee his take on the letter issued by the Chief of Staff vis-a-vis those who were recruited after 7 December 2024 and that of the Director General of the Ghana Education Service in revoking all teachers who are recruited and are not on government payroll. Mr. Chairman, I'm asking this question because there are teachers who might have been recruited in June, and yet their processes of getting into the payroll is still in progress. So I want to find out his take on these two disparities. Thank you.
Answer the question. Honorable nominee.
Grateful, Honorable Chair. Mr. Chair, I wish to seek your leave to correct a factual error.
Very well.
Mr. Chair, I had earlier stated that some 600 schools were still practicing the double track system. That is inaccurate. It is 413 schools and not 600. I'm grateful. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, to the question from the honorable member, I have no take. I take instructions, I take marching orders from the appointing authority. And I wouldn't have any say in a matter of the nature he is seeking my opinion on. I'm most grateful.
Honorable nominee, as you have rightly said, let your answers also reflect that you are a deputy minister designate and not the substantive minister, so that your answers will be short so we can get through this. Thank you. Mr. Minister, I think you have one more question.
No,
he has a question.
Chairman is in charge. Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. In answering an earlier question, the nominee indicated on this PTA whether it was cancelled during the previous regime or it was the dues that was cancelled. I want to find out from the nominee. Now that the PTA, their claim is that the PTA has been reintroduced. Is it that the PTA dues which the previous government took out of parents and students, because some students were being asked to go home because of PTA dues and government thought that it was not appropriate? Is it telling this committee that with the reintroduction of the PTA, the dues that was taken off by government from parents will be reintroduced? Thank you.
Please, are you done? All right. Thank you very much. I will then come to my right. Oh, he has not answered. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Grateful, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I never made any comments with regards to PTA dues. I didn't. the honorable member sought to give a background, whereupon he referred to comments that I had made. But in the comments I've made so far, I have not spoken about PTA dues.
Honorable nominee, please take my guidance. Answer the question. And as soon as you finish answering the question, please put off your mic to signal that you have finished so we can make progress. Thank you.
Yes, answer. The nominee didn't get my question. I can repeat myself or make it more clearer. So
I will grant that.
Thank you. Chairman, I'm just finding out from the minister, with their policy of the reintroduction of PTA, whether the dues payments will be reintroduced. Thank you. The PTA dues will be reintroduced.
Honorable nominee, I believe you have understood the question, so please answer the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I am not the minister. I don't make policy. I am expected to support the minister to implement policy. And within that context, I am unable to give a response to the question posed. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Chairman, thank you so much. And once again, my colleague, my neighbor, congratulations, Clementa Park.
Thank you. I'll now yield the floor to my right, to Honorable Shaibu. Please, you have the floor. And please make your questions straight questions, no preambles, and hopefully the nominee will also answer the questions straight as the questions were.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Chairman, unfortunately, by my training, and the Honorable Agalga and Kura seated here, the judges will tell you to form a foundation, the basis of which you can ground a very good argument. So I'll go by that.
Honorable nominee,
I'm guided, Chairman.
Please, just go by my guidance. No introduction. Please go to your question.
Sharp.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chairman. And let's just stay within PTA. This is an important association that has played a very critical role. You and I went to secondary school together at a time when the country was at crossroads. Indeed, there was severe food shortage occasioned by prolonged drought and devastating bushfires that swept across the entire Savannah woodland. At the time, it was secondary school that suffered the most. We didn't have food to eat. Two key players played a beautiful role in getting us to where we are today. Internal and external. The external includes the Bretton Woods folks, but the internal chaps were the parent-teacher associations. They mobilized food, they went to farms, they came together and did everything as we scavenged through and gleaned through nearby farms to get food. Now, these associations, you and I know, are virtually absent and non-existent. I read from the papers, your will-be boss has said there will be reintroduction of it. Tell us what those plans are in getting back PTAs to the former glory.
Grateful, Mr. Chairman.
Again, Honorable nominee, you are not here this morning being vetted as a substantive minister. You are going to your ministry as a deputy minister designate if this committee approves your nomination. So please be guided.
I'm guided, Honorable Chair. I would expect to follow the lead of my minister when giving approval. I'm grateful.
A follow-up. Okay, please go ahead.
Honorable nominee, in the scheme of things, you have the parent, the teacher, and then the student. In defining the PTAs, we have often left out the student. Do you think it's about time we include the student in the structure? And perhaps we have often left out in practical terms. And so PTAs, you may want to add an S. Is that something you want to consider? You're talking about students. Would you help or suggest to your minister that in restructuring and bringing back the old glory of PTAs, you would want to include the student representatives, just so you take a cue from what is on the ground, because it's on the basis of the activities of the students that you form the PTA.
Grateful, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I am not the minister. I wouldn't be making policy decisions. Should the minister decide that this proposition is worthy of consideration and seeks my input, I will proffer my opinion. I'm most grateful.
Dan, or you going to ask more questions?
Yeah.
Okay, please go ahead.
Honorable nominee, let's do WAEC, the West African Examinations Council. A few months ago, WAEC held the whole country to ransom. Indeed, they nearly disrupted the university calendar. What did they do? They failed and or refused to release the results of senior high students. Now, WAEC has played a critical role over the past decades. But for some reason, do you think that it's about time we introduce competition? WAEC had played a monopoly role over the years. Of course, we will learn that it was a blame game at the end of the day. Either government did not pay, WAEC did not do this, whatever it was. I mean, the monopolistic tendency of WAEC. It's only last week that the High Court ordered that WAEC releases 10,000 results of 10,000 students because there was no justification in withholding those results. Clearly, WAEC is taking the entire country to ransom. Do you think it's about time you will suggest to your minister that we introduce competition to the examination body?
Most grateful, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, again, whilst I'm not in a position to make any policy decisions, should my minister seek my opinion on this matter, I would suggest a national dialogue on our assessment methods to determine the way forward. I believe such a dialogue would perhaps inform us as a nation as to the factors precipitating the conditions that the honorable member has stated, so that we can find a solution. As a member of Parliament on the Education Committee, I have filed motions, at least in the 8th Parliament. I filed a motion with the support of my ranking member at the time, seeking a bipartisan committee to probe matters to do with WAEC and examination malpractices. I think it is a challenge that requires serious national attention. But for now, I can only support my minister based on whatever policy direction he decides is best to address this worrying issue. I'm grateful.
Yeah, your last question, please, if you have one.
Chairman, I do. I want us to look at the centralized procurement for secondary schools. The case of procuring either food or items for secondary schools for the past few years has been quite centralized. And that has brought about untold delays. In terms of food, they will have to wait for many weeks, days before they receive wherever it's coming from. Would you suggest to your minister, if given the opportunity, that in order to work well and operationalize the secondary school system, procurement should be decentralized at the schools level or at the district level, just so there will be ease of transaction, delays will be curtailed, and smoothness of academic calendar will move on. Thank you.
Grateful, Honorable Chair. And as far as decentralizing procurement would inure to our collective benefit, I wouldn't have a challenge suggesting to my minister to consider that option. For the reason